Good morning, friends. Good morning. Listen, we have made it to yet another Friday. I am grateful. Y'all know my mind is on spin. My mind is on go. So many people call them downloads. And listen, when you live the life that you live, and you really don't have a full understanding of who you are and why you are the way you are, it can be a lot. So, I'm praying that as life progresses, people come into a full understanding of who they are and what their purpose is sooner rather than later. And not only come into an understanding, but actually walk in it, because, listen, it ain't for the weak. It ain't for the weary. So many things. I heard a message about a manipulation sandwich and how manipulation is not always, it's not always presented in the deceit that it is. Sometimes people will guilt trip you and play in your face because they know the heart that you have, and make you feel like you're wrong for not giving them what they want or doing what they ask you to do. Or, look, don't let nobody feed you a manipulation sandwich. 2, people know your name, but they don't know you. Now, listen, that thing blessed me, because a lot of times we go through stuff and people will drag our name through the mud. And then there are people who will just go by that off of the fact that someone has used your name. People will use your name and just do everything and say everything. And so your name will have a negative connotation based off of what someone says. People know your name, but they don't know you. So you've got to find yourself in a place of inner peace. Because when you have inner peace, people can say whatever they want about you. That's your name. People know your name, but they don't know you. Hold on. Yeah, so people know your name, but they don't know you. Now, this one, I had to have a talk with my mom this morning about it, because this is something that I often think about. And, a lot of people will say, if God gave you a vision, if God spoke to you, hold on to that, because he's going to do what he said. And I believe that. But a lot of times I struggle, or I have difficulty, because I'm like, what if sometimes you want something, you're so adamant and you're so persistent about something that you believe God said or you believe God showed you, but it's not really, that's not it. It may not be in that way, it may not be in that form, but you're so steadfast and unmovable in the way you want it and how you want it done, that you forge God's signature. I will never say that God has not spoken. I just know in my life that there have been times that I wanted something so badly, and I just kept praying and praying and praying and praying, and I was being persistent. And there's these things that, God says yes, God says wait. Sometimes God says no. And sometimes God gives us an alternate way or an alternative path, and we choose not to accept it because we're so adamant, we're so stubborn in no, because I know what God said, and I know what God told me, and I know what God showed me. We also have to remember that the enemy has tactics and a plan too. And that is something that we can't negate. Yes, God is all powerful. God is all seeing. God is omnipotent. God is all knowing. God is God. And God is going to do what God does. That does not stop the enemy from being who the enemy is. The enemy is going to pursue you. The enemy wants your next, not your now. He wants your next. So he's going to try to get you stuck and stop you in your now to keep you from getting to your next. You got to release what you really got to learn to discern. You got to let go of that ego. Because hindsight truly is 2020. I don't like to say sometimes, because it's like many a time we put ourselves in situations and we put God on something like it's seasoning salt, and it really isn't God. And so then it puts, newcomers or people that were, by walking the walk and living the life that we live, we're like, well, you're saying that God this, God that, and God this, but then this happens. Help me understand. Help make it make sense. So we not only have to be honest with ourselves, but in being honest with ourselves, we're transparent and honest with others. Everything isn't to be shared. You can't talk about everything. But there will be no doubt that it was God. When we speak about healing and we speak about deliverance, and we say we prayed and we prayed and we prayed, and this person still passed, or this person still ended up here, or this person still ended up, that does not negate, or that is not saying that it wasn't God. Because God at times will put us in situations to fulfill a purpose, or give us the tools that we need to fulfill a purpose. Life is a mirror. Life is a classroom. Yes, indeed, my Lord, life be lifing. But as much as life is lifing, God will always be God and do what God does. Hope that makes sense. So yeah, I'm going to this doctor's appointment that I have rescheduled 155 times. I'm excited to have this conversation with her because I really do like my doctor. She listens. She understands. She actually reads your notes, and, she can talk to you about what's going on in your chart. So yeah, I love y'all. Go forth and be great. On purpose, with purpose, because you have purpose, and I love you. On purpose.